This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good afternoon. I hope you're staying safe and doing well wherever you may be. This is the Baltimore Orioles POSTCAST here on the Locked On Podcast Network. As always, I'm your host, Luke Slabaugh. We stream this show live to YouTube after every single Baltimore Orioles game, and we're available wherever you get your podcasts for free. Hope you're enjoying this iteration of the Baltimore Orioles before the trade deadline comes to pass. It is Wednesday, July 30th. Right at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, as we walk through a 9-8 loss at the hands of the Toronto Blue Jays. Had a chance. O's had a chance to make this stretch of the season a whole lot more interesting, teasing us a potential 6-game win streak, potentially a 4-game sweep, known as a mop, affectionately, on this channel. Could have been 7 games under 500, 6.5 back for that last wild card spot with 7 teams to leapfrog. Could have forced the issue at the trade deadline. Instead, the O's surrender a couple of leads in this series finale to Toronto, and they fall to 14-14 in one-run games. Tonight was a sneak peek at the struggles to come, with the patchwork bullpen pieces going in and out. Sir Anthony Dominguez pitching in back-to-back games for the other side, for Toronto. You start to see how things could get ugly for Baltimore in the final 2 months.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Unfortunately, it has to come off of a reliever who started out as Baltimore's hottest arm out the gate. Hadn't given up an earned run all through April and his first outing into May as well. First 11 innings of the year, right-hander Yennier Cano was flawless. And ever since then, the fastball command has been off. The lack of a changeup really lost his feel for it, and starting to use his slider with more frequency and less efficacy. 5 earned runs given up by the right-hander today, his second most given up as an Oriole. In fact, you have to go back to his first outing in Baltimore. Back in 2022, 7 earned runs given up against the Boston Red Sox. Ties the second most that he's given up in his career total. Yennier Cano has fallen short of expectations, and as the O's try to figure out who will close out games for them, you start to see who emerges and who doesn't. Corbin Martin last night, slamming the door on Toronto, challenging Bo Bichette up high with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Andrew Kittredge playing the setup role and perhaps coming back for 2026. Yennier Cano has an opportunity here, and in the top of the 7th, given a 5-4 lead, he failed.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Really heartbreaking to see him struggle with command, but that's exactly what he does. Joey Loperfido leads off the inning, getting a high fastball up that he drills up the middle for a base hit. Clement doing the same on a hang-in slider. Runners on first and second for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Cano gets a ground ball, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He rides in on Guerrero. He chops to Gunnar Henderson, who makes a really nice play with his momentum carrying him to the other side of the diamond. Moving towards third base, able to make the throw and get out Guerrero. Unfortunately, Bo Bichette, who had fallen on hard times and challenged by O's pitching, gets a good hit with the runners in scoring position. 96-mile-an-hour heater in the heart of the plate, and Bo Bichette knows what to do with that. Hits it up the box. 2-run score and a 5-4 lead has been blown away, just like that. Yennier Cano then hits the next batter. Barger puts him on base, and 1 out later, Nathan Lucas pinch hits for Leo Jimenez. We talked about that slider. High and into him. He cranks it into the flag court for a 3-run home run. It is 9-5 Blue Jays. That would be the difference in the game. The O's, for their part, made it very interesting in the bottom half of the 7th, and we will get to that in the second block. But for that part of the game, at least, the Jays bat around, and it wipes out what could have been a very memorable last day for Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins. We got to start with Ced and the catch that he made to, at the time, wipe out a go-ahead home run. An inning prior, top of the sixth, Grant Wolfram is in, left-hander who's touching 97 miles an hour with his fastball, strikes out Barger on 3 pitches. Addison Barger down, sinker high at 96. 3-pitch at bat, crushing it. Walks Davis Schneider, missing a little bit high with that fastball, but acceptable given the context of the situation. Really love what Wolfram can do when he's on, but sometimes he's missing. And again, this is a flyer opportunity for a guy who spent most of this season at the minors. Jimenez then flies out to left field, and Miles Straw, breakout player of this game for Toronto with 3 hits, hits a high sinker off the right field wall for extra bases to trim the lead to 5-4. So you got Straw on second base with 2 outs. Ali Sanchez, 9-hole hitter. You know how those have plagued the O's all season long. Cranks a ball to deep center field on a line sharply. And Cedric Mullins makes what could be the best catch of his career. Talking about willing himself over that wall, pulling himself up, cleats not quite digging in to that wall. He reaches over and brings a home run ball back from Sanchez. Nonchalantly walks off the field with the baseball, but brings it back, extends himself, the grit, the route, the speed. It was everything. Go look at that play if you haven't already. Took away a game-changing home run to keep the score at 5-4 and preserve an okay outing from Dean Kramer. Dean deserved to win this game. A couple of mistakes. We'll go top of the second with the O's already up 3-0. Walks Addison Barger, missing low and away with the cutter. That's understandable. With 2 outs in the inning, including a really good strikeout of Davis Schneider, gets him to genuflect on this filthy cutter. He gets ahead 1-2 on Miles Straw. Straw's pesky. He's fouling off a couple of pitches, and on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, forcing fastball riding low and in. Straw hits it to left field over the fence to make it 3-2. The lead is trimmed to 1. It is Straw's 8th home run in his 8th major league season. Of all people, Miles Straw, like, scholars will struggle to understand how Morton, Kramer, Cano, Eflin could not get shutdown innings in this 2025 campaign. Dean picks himself up after that, strikes out Barger again on a splitter outside. At that point, had struck out 5 of 7 Blue Jays. And in the top of the 5th, Sanchez singles to right field. Clement hits a cutter to left. You start to see less effective with the cutter. You got runners on first and third for Vlad Guerrero. He pokes a cutter past the drawn-in Gunnar Henderson to tie the game at 3 apiece. O's lose this one 9-8. Coming up, we'll go through the offense. Spectacular performance from Jordan Westberg, Ryan O'Hearn. Plenty of player of the game candidates had the O's won. And we'll look ahead to the series coming up against the Chicago Cubs. Roster could look a little bit differently. And that's all coming up after the break. This is the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Couple of new sponsors on the show, and this one really takes me back. I remember when 5 Hour Energy hit the big time. I was in high school when 5 Hour Energy was on every gas station, and it still is, every gas station shelf. The clerk's checkout aisle. You know how it is. Time to fuel up with a 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. I had to look up what a transfusion drink was. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golfing drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Let's be honest, sometimes you need that extra boost. Personally, been a few weeks without caffeine, but I know if I'm going to Topgolf or doing something special, if you consider Topgolf golf. That's all I can do really for this. All I can do for this ad copy. Yeah, you need a little caffeine boost, and 5 Hour Energy's flavors have always hit the spot. Got a nice fruitiness to them. Golf is all about good times with good people. Good flavors, of course. Grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bevy cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code Locked On Golf. That's all one word, Locked On Golf, to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-hour energy shots today. Might have read these out of order, but we carry on. Show is also brought to you by Gametime. Would have been a good day at Camden Yards to see some home runs fly out. That's where Gametime comes in. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. If you're worried about what happens if plans change, the Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and a whole lot more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. It's Gametime. I appreciate you all tuning in here on the Orioles postcast. Charles Hill comments, hi from the United Kingdom, rather. Great baseball game. The highlight, Cedric's catch. We went over that against Ali Sanchez. Wrong result in this one. Colin Elliott says that ump, Vic Carapazza, is just awful. And I would agree. Not often that we like to pick on umpires on this show, but there were two calls that really stuck in my craw. In fact, if we want to go back to the fourth, I believe it was. No, top of the fifth. Top of the fifth, Dean Kramer's still on the mound. And after that, that Vladimir Guerrero single to tie the game at 3-3. I should have mentioned this in the first block. Bo Bichette, with one out, hits a fly ball to left field. Masterclass by Colton Cowser on how to approach this ball. Gets a lot of momentum behind it. Is coming in, taking some furious steps to get some energy behind the ball. And the runner tagging from third starts chugging to the plate, but that throw beats him, and Alex Jackson applies the tag on the wrist before the runner can even touch the plate. Vic Carapazza, home plate umpire, signals safe. And if you're looking live on the broadcast, naked eye, you tell that the throws beat him and the tags beat him. He's out dead to rights. Vic Carapazza does not have the right angle to make that call. He's almost over the shoulder of Jackson. So you can't see the motion of the tag other than his follow through. And that's just umpiring 101. You're taught to do that at the Little League level. And Carapazza came up short in that respect. He also rung up Ramon Laureano on the most important pitch of the game. We'll take you bottom seven. One out right-hander Yariel Rodriguez is in. Jackson Holiday singles on a ground ball to second base. Westy then gets an 0-2 slider that he dumps into center field. So you got runners station to station. Gunnar Henderson hits a fastball up the middle to make it 9-6. Westberg then cruises to third. Adley Rutschman, a 2-1 slider hanging in the heart of the plate through the wickets of Ernie Clement at first base. Through his legs into right field. It's ruled an error, and properly so. It's 9-7. Ryan O'Hearn walks on 4 pitches. The bases are juiced with 1 out. Colton Cowser, who hadn't had a hit all game, up to the plate. This is a game-changing moment. And you got to have the right baseball instincts there. If the person in front of you has walked on 4 straight pitches, you are taking the first pitch of the next at-bat. Don't care if there's a mound visit. Don't care if, there's a pinch runner or there's something that's going on. But if the same pitcher is up there who has walked someone on 4 pitches, you got to lay off, even if it's close. Vic Carapazza kind of helped the O's in this respect. A couple of fringe pitches, one to O'Hearn and one to Cowser. But Cowser takes 4 pitches for balls. He takes a free pass and drives in a run in the process to make it 9-8. First 2 walks of the game for the O's. At that point, John Schneider, the manager for the Blue Jays, takes out Rodriguez, puts in right-hander Braden Fisher. They've already burned their two left-handers early in the game. Cedric Mullins at the plate, and what could be his final plate appearance as an Oriole, works an 8-pitch at-bat, strikes out on a curveball. Dylan Carlson then lifted for Ramon Laureano, their best hitter, had reached base in a career-high 7 consecutive plate appearances. He works a 3-2 count, and Fisher, known for spinning a good curveball, gets one just off the plate, but significantly off the plate. Carapazza rings up Ramon on a curveball. A 7-pitch at bat ends in a strikeout looking. Could have changed the complete momentum of the game, could have tied the game, could have kept that inning going on for Alex Jackson, but not to be. Or for any pinch hitter. You had Tyler O'Neill pinch hit for him. You could have had anyone. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. We had some really clutch hits in this game. Bottom of the first, a sac fly from Adley Rutschman got the scoring going. And then Ryan O'Hearn cranks one into the flag court, made it a 3-0 ball game. Just a good piece of hitting off of the starter right-hander Jose Barrios. Jordan Westberg as well. First pitch, changeup inside with a runner on in the bottom of the fifth. Broke the tie from 3-3 to 5-3. Alex Jackson leading off that inning with a double. 8th straight hit for extra bases to start his Orioles career, leaning in on a 3-2 slurve. That ties Troy Glaus and Brandon Snyder for the Major League record. Glaus back with the Diamondbacks and Snyder with the Braves in 2016. Home run into the splash zone for Jordan Westberg, and that was pretty much all the scoring that the O's would do as they dropped this one 9-8, the final score. The O's carry on, and they are back on it Friday. 2:20 first pitch versus the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley Field, Chicago. The projected starting rotation would be, and I say would with a heavy emphasis, just given the turns in the rotation, Rogers, Sagano, and Eflin. Lefty, righty, righty. For Zach Eflin, there's a report out today by Jesse Rogers of ESPN that the Cubs are kicking the tires on Zach Eflin. He may not last the deadline. Interesting that the Orioles would get a warm body back for Eflin, but people who have been following the game know that what he can do when he's on his best. He can be a number 3, number 2, fringe number 2, and he was at the start of the year for the O's. I actually talked with Cody Del Mundo from a Chicago podcast today previewing that series. But the trade deadline is tomorrow. And that reminds me that there is a special trade deadline show here live on YouTube. Connor Newcomb is hosting. I will be on the road, but Connor will give you the live breakdown of all the moves that general manager Mike Elias and his minions make prior to the trade deadline. Ryan O'Hearn, Cedric Mullins, Ramon Laureano, perchance. If this is it, y'all did good. Really good. It was a great series for Cedric Mullins and O'Hearn homering in his last game, an all-star who the Brewers reportedly have interest in, trying to get a compliment to Andrew Vaughn over there, right-handed hitter at first base. But I've said enough. The final score here on this Wednesday, the Toronto Blue Jays 9 and the Baltimore Orioles 8. Good night, stay safe, and I'll see you right back here on Friday night.